Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
How are you doing, Scott? It's been a while.
Yes, it seems like forever. I'm so glad to be back on the air.
Me too. A lot of people have been commenting and saying, like, where are you guys? What's going on? Yeah, but we, Christmas Day, people with family, and then New Year's Day, people are kind of blurry-eyed. So
yeah.
Anyway, and there's nothing wrong with taking a couple of weeks off. So now we're back. I'm back tonight with a guest, Brian Taylor from Edmonton, Alberta.
Oh, wonderful.
We're getting lots of comments already. So glad that we're back. And Happy New Year to everybody. Thank you so much for the commentary and the emails and the records that we're coming to Audiophile Central. We really appreciate it. And so what did you do over New Year's, Scott? Did you go out partying around the cool Brickell area of Miami?
No. The real people that live here don't go out like that. It's the tourists that do all that stuff.
I heard South Beach is pretty happening. Don't tell me you went down to South Beach on a Saturday night.
Yeah, but I couldn't wait to get out of there before the traffic got crazy.
That's right.
No, I'm kind of a homebody. I stayed at home and listened to records and went to bed at 12:01.
I think Jan and I were in bed like 8:01. So let me bring everybody up the stage. It's Jack. Hey, Jack, how are you?
Terrific. It's glad to be back. Boy, it was desolate around here last Wednesday night.
I was going to come on just live, just for poops and giggles, and see how many people would come on. What are you doing on that thing? And just show some records. Look at my records I got. Okay. Hey, Jim, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine. I'm doing well. Yeah.
You're in Liverpool now, right?
No, I'm in Ealing. No, I'm at.
Ealing. I beg your pardon. Yeah, the part of London, and of course,
I'm looking at Clara.
That's lovely. And Carl had his son here as well over the holidays, right, Carl?
He just left today. In fact, he went to Miami.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he should have got on Scott.
Should have come to the vault.
Scott, we're all coming to the vault on the same day at the same time.
Well, pretty soon I'm going to have a garage sale because it's like there's too much.
So let's do some comments. Andrew from Oz. Hi, Andrew. Happy New Year to Maestros, Scott, Angie. I think Angie's going to come up a little later. I think she had a few things on today. Jack and Carl, and of course Jan. That's the producer.
Where am I though?
Executive producer.
You're the maestro. You're the other maestro.
Assistant maestro.
Maestros.
Oh, right. Is that us then?
Yeah, that's you and me, mate. Yeah.
Okay.
And of course, Jan. Greetings from sunny, warm Canberra. Oh my goodness. Looking forward to the show restarting for 2025. Us too, my friend. And he says, the PS continuum turntable is wonderful. We're going to hope you come up and show us that. Get the Vaseline off your lens there, buddy, and give us a close up and the continuum. Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
And hey, Frederick, likewise, Happy New Year to all. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And Joey, hi everybody. Hope you are well. We certainly are.
Is tonight the night that Joey makes an appearance?
Well, I was looking. I think Joey was getting buffed for the show because on Joey's channel, which I sub, of course, he was making gym equipment today out of 2x4s and buckets with concrete. So I was really enjoying that. He was getting buffed, and I think he's getting buffed for the show. So Happy New Year is the best night of the week. And Andrew says, "Hey Joey, when are you appearing?" That's right. And then Alan says, "Hey Alan, Happy New Year, music lovers." Hey Alan, how are you?
Hi Alan.
And Illuminate, Happy New Year, everyone. Hey Jim, how are you?
Hey Jim.
All right.
And Scott, of course, lovely Scott. Good evening, everybody. Happy New Year. And Postal Playboy, Jan. Postal Playboy's name is Matthew. Jan knows.
Matthew, right?
Matthew, how are you? And of course, James, Happy New Year to those classical music lovers. I loved my CD that you sent me, James, with the live from Tokyo. It was magnificent that you said it was. And I did review your son's the Calidor String Quartet Volume 1, which was fantastic. Sky's back in town. Hey, Sky, Happy New Year.
Hi, Sky.
Was it you guys that got really, really bad weather? I think so. Boy, there's lots of comments tonight.
Yeah, we're getting it Friday.
Leanne from Lachute, Quebec. Happy New Year. Good evening, everyone. And Jeremy, Happy New Year and good health. And to you guys too.
It's good to see everybody.
It is. So let me just put up the images here for a second. We have a guest tonight from the Gramophone in Edmonton, which sells records and CDs and high-end audio equipment, and also musical instruments, like really good ones, really expensive ones. So we'll talk to Brian Taylor. He'll be coming on in about 20 minutes. And of course, Robert Wolfrey, my buddy, is in the Cleveland Orchestra Clarinet. He's coming on February 5th. Then we'll be doing some other people coming on for repeats. And that's the Gramophone in Edmonton, where that's Brian's store. It's been there for many, many years, and a lot of all the musicians in the Edmonton Symphony and that go to that store. Thank you. We hit that today. 6,000 subscribers. Don't applaud, throw money. Okay. And it's all because of you guys and, of course, the Peanut Gallery. So thank you. I mean, we pale in comparison to my friend Scott, who's in the upper hoi polloi of 12 or 13,000 subscribers in my wildest dreams. But we went from 4,000 to 6,000 in 1 year, which is pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Basically, high-end audio, niche, classical music, niche, jazz, niche. So it's pretty good. And Andrew says, wow, 6,000 subs. Yeah, we're really pleased with that. So thank you.
It's great.
Scott said it's only January the 8th, but those end of year sales have already been outdone in my 2025 vinyl budget. Anyone else taking advantage of these sales? What about you guys?
I did not. I had a strict buying schedule. I didn't even want to look. I know the stuff that I wanted was not on sale.
Yeah, I'm going to show you some stuff that I got. Some new, some some used. Sky, what's the first piece of music everyone heard on this new year? Hi, Andrew. So, what did you hear?
Mine was the sea. La Mer.
La Mer, yeah. Beautiful.
La Mer, yeah.
Andrew got some great violin in Melbourne, $2 a pop. Oh, that's getting like, yeah. I how much was that Sally Ann shop, Jan? $2.99. Yeah, the $2.99 records, were they $2.99? Yeah, $2.99. So not bad. Let me get that off.
Well, I know one thing. We seem to be responsible together with various other people of pushing up the prices on these second-hand LPs now. Everybody's getting wind of the fact.
I know. Because you look at like 1,000 people watch the show after it's published, and then of course people watch it, and then and I was watching a show the other day, and some guy says to this guy, this regular, "Are you sub to this fella?" Meaning me, and he goes, "Oh yeah, I think so." Damn right he is. So sometimes there's a hidden group of people who are watching, but they don't admit to watching.
Mm-hmm.
Why, I don't know. The vagaries of the internet. Anyway, so thank you, most importantly, to the Peanut Gallery and to all the viewers who are watching on the rerun. Thank you so much for your support. Really appreciate it. Now, a couple of things that are coming up. Just to that's on a digipack, which is much better than plastic things. And this is Seong Jin Cho. He was the winner of the Chopin competition, not this last one, the one before. And he's an incredible artist, one of my favorites, just amazing. So that'll be.
Is that out yet, Anthony?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, it's 2 CDs. That'll be worth getting. And Joshua Bell, I think 19 CDs.
Indiana.
Yeah, that handsome fella. All his Decca recordings. He's a very fine violinist. And this is on vinyl, and I think Sky will probably have a crack at that. Jan Lasecki, Calgary lad, wonderful pianist, the Academy of St. Martin's in the Fields, on vinyl. So that'll be fun. Now, I'd like to get anybody in the Macadamia Gallery, please, as Andrew says. What do you think about this Katie Lied on UHQI? I know it's not classical, but there's genius musicians. all the UHQR Steely Dan's have been fantastic. Even Pretzel Logic, which some people said wasn't, and they're wrong. I think it's amazing. But this was done with UHQR. The engineer didn't think of a new technique that he didn't love, and I heard they screwed it up. And the original is not good. So if Bernie Grumman can save that record, that'll be something. So let me know if you get it. Let us know what you think of it before we plonk down. How much are they, Scott?
150.
150. Yeah, I might have to get that one.
Well, yeah, I think you for work.
Yeah.
And that's coming up. So let me just move that. Okay. So we got about 10 minutes. I'm going to show some records because I've got a lot to show tonight. And I'm going to tell you what the genesis of them. Here's the Marin Symphony in G minor record recommended by the great Jim Norris. Here with Adrian Bolt on Loretta, and it is a great piece, very, very fine piece. I've never heard it before. But Loretta is Wilkie and Kingsway incredible. I got this because of Sky. Sky suggested it, and it's lovely. It's not Dreamless material because the recording is pressing. It's good, not like their Ravel and Debussy, which is incredible, but it's very good, beautiful. Two great quartets.
What label?
It's Phillips.
Okay, yeah.
Phillips. Beautiful repertoire, beautifully played. Got this today for my friends.
Oh.
I got it because my friend Scott recommended it.
Yeah.
Interesting music.
Yeah.
We got Chazzy the first couple of bars. This is a very early analog productions. I think Mr. Pearson kind of suggested they get going on that, and so I'm looking forward to hearing that. It's nothing but great things about it. Interesting music as well. Bertel Thompson. He was more of a critic than a composer.
Oh.
Now I'm doing a video. I lost an hour and a half of the video today, which really pissed me off. It's called Audiophilia Chases the Dragon. So I'm doing 2 reviews of their most ambitious recordings. This is Chasing the Dragon, which is the English boutique company that does things in direct to disc and other ways. The tapes. This is their Scheherazade with the National Symphony Orchestra. Very nice labels. That was $100 at eBay. And here's the other one. This one is from 2016. That's 223. This is the other main big one. These cost Mike Valentine, who's the producer, is a bit of a character. £100,000 of his own money. So it's nice to support him. And you'll get a chance to see what I think of them if you watch the video. And the label. Beautifully, I can't say the glare. Beautifully produced. My goodness me. Sorry, guys. It was a good Christmas, as they say. This is an interesting one. I had to rebuy this because I sold it, and I didn't think it was that good on my other cartridges. Then I played it on my new cartridge, and I'm thinking, my God, this is so brilliant. The bass drum in this and the interpretation. So I bought it again. This is the answer. This is on the speaker's corner, and it's absolutely magnificent. That is my number one Petrushka now. Yes, better than the Boston Symphony, Montreux, and better recording than the analog productions. Much better.
Yeah.
Pass.
Fail.
Do not go past. Go. I don't know why I bought it. The music is so frigging annoying. And it's just not the fast ballet music, which I think is beautiful. The Gaiety Parisienne. And for some reason, just like Mr. Fiedler did with his famous one with the Boston Pops, Mr. Schulte does the same thing with the Oral Labras. It's hard driven. It's just annoying.
Pretty covered.
It's a bit like asking Herbert von Karajan to conduct the Mikado or something, isn't it?
You're exactly right. And by this time, let me just get you. Yeah. By this time, you had to remember that they called him the bald Prussian bastard They wrecked his Mercedes. The musicians in the orchestra. James and my conducting teacher, beloved teacher Bernard Keith, was Scholte's assistant at the time, and Scholte wanted to come in and fly half the orchestra. And there were some great players in that orchestra, including my teacher Howard Clark. But anyway,
well, you know the story of Schulte and Sutherland, don't you?
No, tell us.
Right, they're staying in the same hotel in New York, and Schulte decides he'll have a punt at in if he can get anywhere with Joan Sutherland. So he calls her up to his suite to rehearse something, and she knocks on the door, and he opens the suite completely starkers, and she looks him up and down, and says, "No, I've got one of my own, thanks," and just walks off.
That's about right.
That is cracking,
This I got 99p, 2.99. I bought like 10 records from Salvation Army. They were this is Mozart Budapest String Quartet mono, cleaned up beautifully. It's just $2.99 Canadian. Amazing. This was surprisingly good. Not quite Dreamless material because of the recording. It's very good for the pressing for Phillips, but the Boston Symphony plays Sibelius one so beautifully. Oh my God, what an orchestra! And Colin Davis is very good. Imported from Europe. Not too much longer, guys. But I want to show records before Brian got on. This is interesting. This is my friend Scott, of course, got me on the London Stereo Treasury. This is Music in London. It's lovely. Emmanuel Hurwitz with the English Chamber Orchestra. Music over a century. It's great. $2.99. I want to try and do a gym, get an example. This was the kicker. This is the back house of Vienna Phil. This is amazing. This record's $50 to $60 on Discogs. It's the narrowband. $2.99, cleaned up. It's beautiful. And it's not my favorite concerto, but my God, does back house play the hell out of that. So it's very, very good. Highly recommended. Oh, there's more. My beloved Angelina sent me this, and I've reviewed it already in Audiophilia. It's crackerjack. It really is. It's wonderful. Oh, and I got this, and I already reviewed it. Hildegard of Bingen that sold 1 million records and saved the company, Hyperion. And it's basically music written in the 1100s by Hildegard of Bingen. It's mesmeric. It's concave melody. It doesn't go up more than a third. Yet it's unmissable to listen to it. It's so beautiful. And I was listening to it when I was working, and Jan was like, "Oh my God, what is that?" And it's like it's just you get hooked. It's the Hyperion again. So it's digital in there somewhere, but it's wonderful. Highly recommended. And I got a couple more. Sorry, guys. Yes. Sky sent me these. Thank you, Sky. Got the Schulte Listley Prelude. Boom, boom, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum. With George Schulte is wonderful. That's
what orchestra is that, Anthony?
Beg your pardon?
What orchestra is that?
London Philharmonic. And then he said, "Excuse me, see what it says? For Jan." I know, that's Sky. I mean, these guys, I'm telling you, I know she's beautiful. I get it. Okay, I get it. Just relax, take it easy. So Jan says, "Thank you, Sky." And it's lovely. It's a cello record. It's I already has the stolen cello. I think he was hoping it was a stolen heart, but it's not. Thank you, Sky. Very much appreciated. And for $44 shipped, 5 LPs, EMI, one of my favorite violins, Pinky Zuckerman with Barenboim. Glorious sound, glorious performances. Sky, that's one that you should get. It's really fantastic. And I think it was $40, $44 shipped, Canadian on eBay. That's it, guys. That was a lot. Thanks for bearing with me because I wanted to show those off tonight. There we go. Okay, so we got about 5 or 6 minutes before we get to Brian. Jack, did you say you have a couple of records to show?
I do. One of these I think I want to show you, but all of these I listened to this last week, or week and a half, 2 weeks while we were off. If these are, if this one might be a repeat, the Starker, very, very good record. Mercury's good sound. It was in good condition. And I was talking to a piano player that I went to Indiana with, and he says, "What are you listening to?" And I said, "This," and he heard it in the background. I said, I remember walking through the hallway in the School of Music, and somebody many times said, "That's Starker." And I said, "Who's that?" I didn't know who he was when I was there. I mean, I knew who he was, but I didn't know how great he was. He plays the devil out of this.
That's a gorgeous recording. Famous, very famous recording.
Of course, the Barbaroli.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Yeah.
How's the pressing on Angel? Does it sound good?
Not really. It's okay, but
Sounds like you need a new phono stage, Jack.
Music, yeah. Well, that's maybe the problem. Musically, it's amazing, and the artwork on the cover is amazing.
That's John Turner. Sorry, John Turner.
Yeah.
So Joseph William Mallard Turner, I should say.
It's just the Angel sound. And here's a RCA Victor.
Oh, I have that. I have the Canadian early pressing of that. It's very good.
And he plays great on this.
Yeah, he does.
That
He does
was
an
his
incredible
big-
chord thing.
And I didn't even recognize Previn on this. He must have been about 12 years old when he was.
Oh, that's the RCA. That's the RCA one, eh?
It is. It's the Red Seal. It's not a groove, but it's not horrible.
Well, yeah. Okay.
It's not good, but it's
I'll
not.
take your word for it, bud.
But and of course the other Eulenspiegel, and
yes, that's
this is
lovely.
a very good version of Transfiguration, and Reiner.
It's fantastic.
You want to hear a funny Herseth story about Reiner?
Yes.
So he told me when he was great for stories. One of the stories he told us once, he said to me, he says, we were playing Petrushka, and he had the trumpet part on the end, the double tongue thing. So Reiner, he liked to wear you down, he just liked to wear you down. Herseth said it. He says, "Stop the orchestra." He says, "Play that again." And he played it again, and he nailed it again. He goes, "Play it again." He nailed it again. He says, "Play it again." He nailed it the third time. He asked him to play it the fourth time, and Bud looked at him and says, "Maestro, if you think I'm going to screw it up, you're wrong."
That's right. There's
And
no way.
You asked what we listened to for New Year's? Now, I know this is Stan Kenton.
Wow, that's an interesting one.
But it's the original. It's the MoFi. And what's interesting on this, if you get a chance, I think you can all stream this. It won't sound as good as the recording. It's a very clean record, I found. It's the normal band with the normal, instrumentation, but there are, I think, 5 trombones and a bass trombone. There's, let's see, I actually kept this out here. Of course, there's tuba. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 French horns, and they're augmented by I think 3 mellophones on here, and you really get that Wagnerian brass.
I can imagine. I saw Kenton when he was close to the end of his life with his band. He had a 20-year-old tuba player in the jazz band. It was just amazing, incredible.
This is an amazing recording. It really is. The orchestrations are terrific.
Scott, do you have that record?
Me?
Scott,
No, I don't.
that would be a good video. That'd be an interesting video.
I'm going to talk about that.
Yeah,
That's a rare one.
One thing I know, and again, not to go heavy on the jazz thing, but we all know that this came out, this Birth of the Blue, which the stories on this are
You enjoying it? You enjoying it?
It's sold out, and it's now back at Acoustic Sounds. If anybody wants it, it's really good. They were the kind of blues sessions a couple weeks earlier, and everybody was making the comments and videos and things I've read that was the only record that the 4 cuts were on one single record. Well, they're wrong. And one of my listeners, who's a really knowledgeable guy I think he's in Switzerland, sent me a note and said there's another record that they're all on, and I have it. And if anybody can find this, this is the monaural Japanese Columbia with the same cuts as on here, plus a couple more. So there is another record that exists that has all those cuts on it. And this monaural, I'm going to tell you, that new one is a 5-star. This is about a 4. It's better than any of the other issues of that music. So if you don't want to spend all the money that it costs to buy this, or you can't get it, I think you can still find these probably in Japan on Discogs or somewhere. This is a great record. So it exists, one of these.
Very interesting.
Fabulous. Thank you, my friend.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now I'm going to add to the stage Brian Taylor from the Gramophone in Edmonton. How you doing, Brian?
Having a great day. How's everyone?
Very
We're doing
well,
good.
very well. So Peanut Gallery, Brian is the proprietor of Gramophone in Edmonton. I showed you the picture at the beginning. And not only they sell high-end audio equipment, great stuff, including Macintosh and all sorts of wonderful stuff. We'll talk to Brian about that in a second. But they also sell records and compact discs. And they also sell fine instruments, including Powell flutes, Powell piccolos, very expensive flutes, and other instruments we'll talk about. And Brian comes by, honestly, Brian is a professional musician, studied at McGill University in Montreal. Trumpet, wasn't it, Brian?
Yes, it was.
Yes, I always get confused, like, is Brian. Right. So, Brian, I'm going to.
We have to stick together on this one, Brian.
Jack was from Indiana. I've got a lot of great comments I'm going to, from the Peanut Gallery, I'm going to put up after I speak to Brian for a second. But let me just get Brian big. There we go. There he is, that handsome fella. So, Brian, how are you this evening? What's going on in just around the corner from me in Victoria?
Well, you know, I've lived here for just a year and a half recently, after having been a student at UVic from 72 to 77. I studied with Boyd Hood in Victoria, and then I went to Montreal and studied with Jim Thompson. But my wife and I moved to Victoria in June of 23, and so it's we're getting established here. I still go back to Edmonton to my business and my store, and the weather's nice, the grass is green, and at this
That's right.
point in my life, that's important.
And Brian has the most beautiful. Would you say it's Victorian, Brian? Victorian in style? No?
The ginger,
Your house. Your house.
she's a border collie.
No, but your house, is it a Victorian house?
Well, it's a typical West Coast style, made, between 1910 and 1930. Our house is from 1917.
It's a gorgeous home. So tell us a little bit about how you got started in music, Brian.
Typical took piano lessons when I was about grade 4. Did not enjoy it. It was a solitary activity. And then when I went to high school in Vancouver, grade 7, I started on the trumpet. And, it's one of those things when you have moderate success quickly, you get excited about it and you keep practicing and joining bands and taking lessons. And, my mom wanted me to be a dentist, but alas, I disappointed her. I went to high school in Vancouver, then came to Victoria in 1972 and played in the Victoria Symphony as an extra from 72 to 83. I did, after Montreal, I moved to Edmonton in 81 and started playing extra in the orchestra from 81 until 2013. I haven't
for that long a period.
Yeah, I was running my business and it was great. I'd get a call to play second cornet in something or fourth
Sim-
trumpet in
Simply
something.
fantastic. Did you know Yuri Meyer?
Ori and I arrived in Edmonton the exact same month. So he was the conductor of the McGill Orchestra when I was there. And then
Me too.
what's that?
Me too for 3 months.
Yeah.
I got the hell out of there.
And Uri was, and his wife Neria were friends, and we had a good relationship. I was the stage manager of the Edmonton Symphony for 5 years, from 84 to 89. So that was my full-time job. And I must say, the first week when I was the stage manager, it was a very interesting week. We had the Pope visit to Edmonton, and the orchestra played at the Namao Air Force Base, and we had tens of thousands of people there. And we also had a live concert in front of the City Hall. And as a stage manager, you responsible for getting everything to the venue, and that was a very busy first week.
I bet.
Trial by fire.
So how did you go from that to the gramophone?
Between 81 and 84, I was the co-owner of another hi-fi business in Edmonton called Audio Arc. I was there for about 2 years, and I was a 40% owner. But I could not get along with my partners, so I left the business and went to work for the orchestra. Then, after 5 years as stage manager, compact discs were becoming extremely popular at the end of the 80s. And so when I opened the gramophone, we were 95% software and a little bit of audio equipment. And over the years, that that changed, and I started selling totem speakers about 86 or 87, and added more and more hi-fi gear because of my interest. And we remained selling classical music for 30 years, 35 years. And it's been a nice business. You have to be flexible. You have to be willing to try new things and move with the times. So
I bet. So tell us some of the Scott. I got some questions for you. First of all, Joey says, "Go Oilers," and Andrew says, "Hi Brian. As trumpet players must stick together." Right? And then Scott, wonderful Scott, he says, "What are the speakers behind Brian?" So can you explain to Scott what speakers? I've reviewed both of them.
Well, I think you know what they are, Anthony.
Well, I do, but let's
Here
Scott.
we have the Epos ES14N, and then behind me, the smaller ones are the ES7Ns, Epos loudspeakers designed by Karl-Heinz Fink. We are his distributor for North America. So we handle the American market and the Canadian market. And our warehouse is in Edmonton, and we ship to either end users or any retailers that want to be dealers for Epos loudspeakers.
And how are they selling? I heard they're doing very well.
Well, they sound fantastic. It is a challenging time when you're in distribution, when you're dealing with the American market. Really, no one knows what will happen with tariffs.
Yes. How will the tariffs affect you, do you think? If they come through, I don't think they will, or at least not at that number. But if they came through at that number, how would it affect a Canadian retailer?
Well, we don't have tariffs on Chinese-made products. These are designed in Germany by one of the most experienced loudspeaker designers in the market today, Karl-Heinz Fink. So we import them from the factory. We warehouse them in Edmonton. We set the dealer price, the retail price. And so for the Canadian market, it is what it is. However, when we ship to America, there are existing tariffs which must be paid. The money goes to the American government, and that raises the dealer price. It raises the retail price. At the moment, it's manageable, but if the incoming president raises it as he threatens, then prices will either go up or sales will stop. They just tariffs just make things more expensive.
Oh God. Well, let's hope he focuses on Greenland and and stays away.
I could also be the EPOS distributor for Greenland if you know.
They'd really be in trouble. Okay, that's wonderful. So tell us a little bit about your playing and what got you into the trumpet and what was your experience like at McGill? Was it a positive experience?
Oh, my teacher in Edmonton, in Victoria, was Boyd Hood. He very kindly hired me to play in the orchestra. I played in a brass quintet in Victoria with fine players. That's one of my positive attributes as a trumpet player. I played in a brass quintet for a year with Jens Lindemann just prior to him joining the Canadian Brass.
What a player!
Yeah, and
that man is remarkable.
And I taught him everything he needed to know when he moved from my brass quintet to the Canadian Brass.
Do you know how much he got? Do you know how much didn't he get a signing bonus for the Canadian Brass?
We should have got a bonus for training him, is what we should have done.
But he got a pretty big. I think he got a Porsche or something. Oh, that was maybe the violence. But Juilliard McGill, but Juilliard mainly, and what an incredible player.
Yeah, and when I went to McGill, I again played chamber music, did a couple of concerts with the McGill Orchestra, but I played in one of the wind ensembles, and it was I love the French culture. It was a great place to be, great players. So then I moved to Edmonton after 3 years in Montreal with my girlfriend at the time, and then I was in Edmonton for 45 years, and so it was time to get to greener grass, greener pastures. But I'm in Edmonton about 5 days a month to just to help out at the shop, and when my shop manager goes on vacation, I still have a house in Edmonton, so I go back and forth between our two houses, and I'm not in retirement at all, but
I know for sure.
Yes. Busy time.
Joey asks, what are a few of your favorite pieces to play? Thank you in advance.
You mean as an orchestral player, Symphonie Fantastique, anything with multiple trumpet parts. The first job I did in Edmonton was Janáček Symfonietta.
Oh, it's got like 20 trumpets.
17 trumpets, and so they had to hire me. I was the new guy in town, and do
you remember what part you played?
Sorry?
Do you remember what part you played? What number trumpet?
Well, it was probably 17 or 16.
Well, because there's the bass trumpets, right? But the lower trumpets, they have the hard part.
With
the symphony.
Rarely is the 17th trumpet part the hard part, but it might be in that piece.
It was. Yeah, a lot. Guys, is there anybody that has on the panel that has a question for Brian? Jim usually think of something.
At the end,
you have, Jim.
How many trumpets and stuff have you got? I mean, are you still actively working in that?
Down the hall, I have 40 trumpets, all new. Shires, Adams, Schilkees.
Oh, wow.
I'm still listed as a Adams retailer and as a Shires retailer. I'm, at my point in my business life, I need to reduce some of my inventory. So I've sold half a dozen Shilkey trumpets through the Shilkey Facebook forum, and C cornet, E flat cornet, piccolo trumpet, and just time to reduce some of my inventory. I sell French horns.
Brian, one thing, I mean, if someone comes to you and says, I want to buy a new trumpet, whatever, do you sell them a trumpet or a make of trumpet, depending on what you think they would be suitable to play? I mean, if there's somebody who's, got a huge build, would you give them a different trumpet to someone who's, stick thin and 8 stone?
Well, the custom trumpet market, if you ordered a trumpet today from one of the well-known makers, you could wait 9 or 10 months. So you have to have inventory. People will come, they'll play what you have. And depending on, sometimes when you're dealing with the professionals, they're the most difficult to please. They try all the brands that they
Jack,
have available.
just like you, Jack.
Yeah.
Jack, what trumpet did you play, Jack, when you were playing full time? What trumpet did you play?
I had a Vincent Bach at the time, and I also, when I needed to play something with some force and some meaning, I used my Vincent Bach. But when I was playing, a club date or something, a jazz thing, I used I had a Burbank Benge made by Ike Benge right out of Burbank, and it was a copy of the French Besson, almost to a T.
See,
and you didn't have to work as hard.
C trumpet or B flat trumpet? C trumpet or B flat?
Well, it's funny because at Indiana they made a deal with Getson, and Getson was at Kenosha, Wisconsin, and we went up to Getson, and they actually made custom C trumpets for us in the orchestra in Indiana. They did our airflow and the bore, and and I still have it. It was nice, but it's kind of like a camera, you still have to take the photograph. And people get crazy about these instruments. And
well, Jack, in today's world, kids go to university and they have all the horns already. Yeah. I mean, a lot of universities in the 60s, a little bit before my time, they might have a C trumpet that belongs to the faculty, but nobody came with an armada of different brass, different trumpets in different keys. So now the level of playing of young people today is quite outstanding, and I don't know that I would have I don't know that I would think I could be a professional trumpet player today based on what you hear on YouTube with 15 and 12-year-old kids.
Unbelievable.
So it's scary. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Sky from Kansas City said, "Hi, Brian. Did you focus on classical music genre or played it any other jazz or any contemporary music genres?"
Well, I was a classical player. I need music to play. I do not improvise. So I did a lot of chamber music, playing an extra in the orchestra, that kind of thing. So
if you had one excerpt you never had to play for the rest of your life because it was so difficult, it's your bugaboo, what excerpt? And I think Jack and I know, we know what it's called already, but go ahead. Can you tell us? Did you have one?
There's some great parts. The Nutcracker, the little trumpet solo, but there's
because you got that part. The triple tongue out there. It's very difficult.
It's I'm a retailer these days, so I still practice. Usually I play my cornet because the cornet is more forgiving, and the trumpet is a stern mistress. And if you're playing a trumpet, you're not practicing very much, it's not a very pleasant sound. So normally I'm playing cornet because it's a more melodious, softer tone. And when you're not in shape, it's still kind of fun to play.
And Andrew from Oz, he's from Canberra, says, when I choose a mouthpiece, I use an all threepence to get the right size. What kind of mouthpieces? First of all, do you sell mouthpieces in your store?
Yes, mouthpieces are something that you never make money on. If you have 100 sample mouthpieces and you sell 5 or 6 mouthpieces a year, you'll never make money, but it's part of being trying to deal with the professional market. It's always a frustration when someone calls and says, hey, I just bought a new trombone and I heard you sell trombone mouthpieces. And they don't call you when they need the trombone, which is $5,000. They want to come and try mouthpieces. And so we actually charge a small fee because that's it's not a great thing to spend 2 hours with a guy maybe thinking about buying a mouthpiece and wants to know your return options should he not speak later, So,
yeah. Well, it's a business. You got to keep an honest business. I mean, sometimes these people, especially with high-end audio, they come in, they kick the tires. You need to. Do you have Angie's big sign on the wall? I do not have to serve you, just so you understand that. I like she warns them as they come in.
Well, I know people like the Stork people, Phyllis Stork in Connecticut or Vermont, wherever they are now. If you want to spend an hour or two trying mouthpieces, they charge you $100 an hour. And and they should, because they're a busy shop.
Correct.
They have fantastic experience fitting mouthpieces to players. And the challenge is if a player doesn't play very well, the mouthpiece can't solve his problems.
Do you know Griego mouthpieces?
Trombone maker, yes.
Yeah.
And again, I could have 5 more brands of trombone, horn, trumpet mouthpieces, but there is a limit to my madness about trying to help people.
So just in the last few minutes, can you tell us what lines you sell in high-end audio?
Well, the best, of course. That's the answer.
Of course.
We're AccuPhase dealers, Luxman dealers, Macintosh dealers. I distribute Canor from Slovakia.
Oh yeah, nice stuff. I reviewed it.
We were the distributor for Audia Flight. One of our colleagues in Canada was interested in taking it over from us, so we relinquished that just in September.
Nice stuff. Audio Flight, yeah.
And we were the distributor for acoustic signature turntables. We do Rido loudspeakers, the Epos, as we see here. We're the fine audio distributors for Canada, and we've been the ATC loudspeaker distributors for 15 years. Our technician has been to the factory. So we have a well-stocked store. We sell all the accessories, cartridges.
Wow. I didn't realize you sold AccuPhase. How do they sell in Canada?
The people will gladly pay for an AccuPhase integrated amp. But if you're buying a preamp, power amp, the sources are very expensive, and the CD market is not as robust as it was 20 years ago. So again, there's another thing. We're in a small market in Canada. We're in Edmonton, and there is only so many wealthy people. I hear stories from U.S. retailers where they really are custom integrators. They're not as aware musically as I think they should be, but they sell a tremendous amount of expensive equipment into new homes, and that's wonderful for them. You know, it's in a small market. You know, how many Rolls Royce dealers are there in Canada? Maybe 3.
That's right.
And are there 30 in America? I have no idea. But the high-end audio business is like the high-end car business. Some brands have 1 or 2 dealers in the whole country, just because there is only a certain number of clients for that brand.
Can you read that question for you, Brian? Can you see that?
I can. It's one of those things that if I was able to play the Telemann Concerto, I'd probably be a professional trumpet player. But
But you were a professional trumpet player. When you were playing professionally, did you ever play that?
no.
Did it in college.
I did sonatas with piano, but you learn the movements of the Hummel and the Haydn, but the Baroque repertoire was not my forte.
Alan has a question for you. Do you have an
Yes.
opinion on the classical pieces Wynton Marsalis played in the early 80s?
Well, Wynton is a genius, I think. Some people think he's not, but I think they're wrong. And apparently, when he was making his recordings, he kind of picked the brain of all the good classical players at Juilliard, and he's able to do it. And certainly, I saw him live in Victoria last year. And he just plays the spots off the page, if there is music on the page.
Correct.
He's when he was young, he could double tongue, triple tongue, circular breathe when he was like 12 years old. And I remember he was on the stage, and he was doing all this fancy stuff, and he was 12 or 13 years old. And his father was a great jazz piano player. Said, Wynton, if you play for applause, that's all you'll get. Mm-hmm. And Wynton said he learned a valuable thing. And Wynton said he's a jazz musician who plays classical. But I'm not a great fan of his jazz playing. I mean, he's a great player.
I totally agree, Anthony.
Yeah, I find it cold compared to Miles and that. But his
I really enjoy the standard time recordings. Standard Time Volume 3 has got some standard jazz pieces, and it's beautiful playing. It's lyrical. It's he's playing with his father and
his brother.
Yeah, so check out Standard Time Volume 3. It's on. For
sure, we'll do. I'll stream that. I do know that to answer Alan, that his cornet pieces with the Eastern Wind Ensemble. It's a great record. And my mother bought me my first CD ever was Wynton playing the Haydn concerto, and his stuff he does with Kathleen Battle. The Handel piece. What is it, Jim? The Handel for trumpet and
Seraphim.
No, not that one. That's great too. That's the other one that he does well with it. Eternal Joy of Light, of Source of Light Divine, for the Birthday Ode to Queen Anne, which is just heartbreakingly beautiful, and he plays it beautifully. Because that's what she does, right?
If Kathleen Battle married Emmanuel Axe, she'd be Kathleen Battle Axe.
which is not far from the truth. The only diva ever to get fired from the Met, and what a goddess of a singer this woman is. So that's how bad she was. And one of the stories was that she was in the limo heading towards the Met, and she called her agent to call the limo driver to turn the AC down. I mean, we're talking diva. It's a bit like working with Scott at the pressing house. He's a little bit like that. He's a bit of a diva.
Hey, Brian, I've got a quick question.
Jim? Oh, sorry.
Yes. Wait. So, 2 or 3 of your favorite world-class trumpet players of all time that you've appreciated.
Well, I saw Maurice André in New York City playing with the National Symphony of Washington, D.C. Mm-hmm. So I heard him live, and everyone has Maurice's classical Baroque recordings.
Correct.
I love the brass quintets by Victor Ewald.
Oh
And
yeah.
beautiful chamber music playing by the Stockholm Brass.
Yep.
With it's lyrical, it's melodic. I'm kind of a melodic guy, and that's one of my. I could listen to that recording again and again, and I have it on vinyl, and there's I was an avid Chicago Symphony guy. I studied with Mr. Chikowitz back in 71, 72. I went to Northwestern, had lessons. I did the Arnold Jacobs master class.
There you go.
Oh wow, great
I think
stuff.
it was like 93 or something, the year that I did that. And when you're growing up, they were the standard of trumpet playing orchestrally, but European players are stupendous today. There's
my teacher at Indiana, Louis Davidson, turned me on, and I had not heard of this gentleman, but of course now I listen to him quite a bit still. The Dachschutzer from Russia.
Oh yeah,
Dachschutzer. What a great player.
My high school principal gave me the Arutinian recording with him.
famous.
That was in 71 or 72.
Yep.
Then Hans Gansch is, former principal of Vienna.
He's in deep trouble on Facebook. That man.
Yeah.
He's being me too, I think.
The ability for us to listen to things on YouTube and Qobuz is remarkable.
We're spoiled.
We are, and I think a lot of younger players today don't realize what we had to wait every year for the next Mahler recording.
Correct.
To come on the market with Schulte, and we read the liner notes with great interest because there was no internet to find out things. And I remember the little anecdote that Schulte said to the Vienna Philharmonic Choir, and he was rehearsing them prior to recording Mahler 8 in Vienna with the Chicago Symphony. And he admonished the choir and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, we have an orchestra coming that plays his music magnificently, and you are not singing to the level that you need to in order to do justice to the music." And that's an anecdote. I think it's on the liner notes of the record, but so kids today don't hang around record stores waiting for the next record to drop, and that was kind of a fun thing when we were young.
Brian, I've got another question from a tech writer. Have you heard the LP by Phil Driscoll, the trumpet player, called "A Touch of Trumpet"? Put out under the wheel.
I know of him.
Oh, there's Ginger. Hey, Ginger.
Yeah, there she is.
She is such a beautiful dog.
She is. Phil Driscoll is, he's a Christian musician with great player, lots of great players, and but he's not something that is a household name in the brass playing world.
Alan has a question, just as we close here. Following up on James Meyer's question, have you found often many professional musicians have no inclination to buy decent stereo systems, and if so, why?
A great question, and one that I think part of it is when you play music 6 or 7 hours a day, you don't go home and listen to music again. Also, a lot of great players, they hear the music in their head, and so they can be listening on a very inexpensive system, and they synthesize what it would sound like in a good hall with a good orchestra.
That's the best answer to that question I've ever heard, Brian. Thank you.
Yeah, that is.
Brilliant. Two really very important points. Well, listen, guys, that's about it for today for the interview section. Brian, you are amazing. And would you please come back again?
We should do it over a beer next time. And
well, you can bring beer. You can sit there and bring.
we'll bring Ginger and Jan, and then we'll have a party.
If Ginger's here and Jan, Ginger's going to get snacks. Listen,
Yeah.
Brian, the Peanut Gallery had some great questions for you tonight. You've had an amazing career and a real leading career, not just as a performer, but as a retailer and high-end audio equipment. And boy, your lines are, you have the best lines. Incredible. So thank you so much for coming tonight.
Thank you, Brian.
Yeah, and we'll see you again soon. I'll see you again soon because Brian will be bringing over equipment for me to review. So I always look forward to that. And don't forget to bring Ginger.
I will.
Have a great evening, my friend. Thank you so much.
Anthony. Good night,
Awesome.
everyone.
Hi, Brian.
Good night.
Good
Thank you
night.
so much.
Cheers.
That was great. Brian's just wonderful. He's a great musician.
It's about time you had a trumpet player on.
I know. Terrible. Okay, let me get up the invitation. So hopefully some of the guys will come up tonight.
You know, that answer that you commented on, the last thing he said is so true. I used to work for a couple that were professional musicians. This is when I was in New York. I was cleaning their house, and they had the crappiest stereo. And I said, "Why?" You know, I always wondered why. And they told me that the exact same thing.
You know, Anthony, one of the issues I had when I was working in the music business, which I about 20 years worth, you know, when you're working within an orchestra or a small group or whatever, you're there and you're hearing it there. And when I would go home, I didn't have the equipment that, any of us, you guys have. And I'm a pauper compared to you guys, but, I wanted it to sound the way it sounded on the bandstand.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought Brian's answer was like
why am
amazing.
I doing this,
Yeah, and Brian he's an amazing man, and of course great systems. Oh,
that's why today, if you
Danny, how are you?
Hello, how y'all doing?
you guys
Lovely to
play
see
a
you.
record,
And of
look
course,
for live recordings.
Alan. Hey, Alan, how are you? And of course, Ryan. I said I'm getting a care package from Maui from Ryan, which I really appreciate now, the Canada Post. And I told Ryan, I said, I'll see you on the show. So let me just go. First of all, hi everybody. Let me and Armin, too late, buddy. Armin's backstage. I can only get 10 people on. Let me just go through some of the questions, okay? Some of the comments, I should say, which were wonderful. Andrew from Oz said, Acupace is adored in Australia. My friend is and then James, of course, a great friend from Columbus. Yeah, he says, great to hear a classical musician owning. I wish you were in Columbus. Armin said, who's backstage, Black Coast is a great Marcellus album too.
It is good.
I think I'm not sure whether Brian did see or each one. Okay, someone's got music going. Andrew said, Maurice Andre all the way is brilliant. And just for Brian knows, Joey said, thank you, Brian. Wonderful interview. Thank you for your time, Brian. Joey, you were so nice. And also Alan, who's also very nice. Thank you, Brian, for great insights. And Piccolino the cat, that's Ozzy said, hello, Ginger. Let me say this, Ginger is Jan, what kind of dog is Ginger? A border collie. She's so smart. It's ridiculous. I mean, she is just the most delightful dog. And Leanne says, thanks, Brian and Ginger. And Postal Playboy, Matthew, Jan? Matthew, I'm sorry, Postal. Matthew says, bravo, Brian. And Armin. Armin, I hope you're okay, my friend in LA, and we'll try and get you up in a sec. Anyway, so while we've got Danny, how are you doing, my friend?
Doing all right. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Yeah.
Justin Records, the show?
No, I hadn't bought anything lately. I had been kind of under the weather the last couple of days and just getting a break from the hot holidays. I hadn't been able to buy anything. I think the last records I bought was the Beatles.
What is going on, my friend? Come on. You're in Fort Worth, right?
Yeah.
Fort Worth, wonderful.
I I haven't found anything. I've been going back to a place called Doc's Records. They usually pretty good with their stock with their classical, but I hadn't seen anything that I wanted. So I've been kind of like lacking.
Oh, that's okay. Well, it's lovely to see you.
Good to see
Alan,
you guys.
did you buy any records over the holiday?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
And
hang on.
by way
Let's
of
get-
introduction, I just posted something about, I think it was March 2016. Carl Sigman reviewed one of the amplifiers that I have. It's the VPI put out a limited edition of 100 integrated tube amps called the
Oh, yes, I remember that one.
299D.
Yeah.
And it was in your magazine.
Yeah, I edited it. It was
Yeah.
lousy. I had to make it readable. It was terrible.
So what happened was recently, I mentioned before, I have a Rogers High Fidelity 65 V1. And some records I would, and I've never done this before, I would turn the volume literally all the way up. And after a certain point, there would be no increase in volume because, you know, records they're cut differently, some louder, some soft. And anyway, make a long story short, I flipped them. I brought down the VPI, which has, I think, maybe double 4 EL34s instead of 2. And now I have all the volume I need. So I think it was the right move.
Oh,
Now to
wonderful.
get into records, going back to what Jack showed earlier today.
Oh, look, great minds.
Yeah, you know, great ears hear alike or something. So I do have that version. And I was glad to, I don't have the new Birth of the Blue,
Holy
but I do have
mackerel.
that Japanese pressing, that Jack. So now this made me go in my stack and find out I actually have it. And I didn't realize that was
real
actually
good,
the one.
Alan. It's real good.
Yeah, good. I'm
really
going to listen to it. Then to answer a question earlier, what was the first album I listened to this year? I actually listened to this one, which it's not actually on Discogs. It's a jazz album. It's John Abercrombie, and it's called Characters. But the thing is, this one has Japanese, or I should say Japanese or Chinese characters on it. And the Discogs, the official version, this is a color version, and this is kind of like black and white. So I might enter it myself in Discogs if I can't find it. But the first classical album I listened to this year was this one, Vaughan Williams.
Isn't that gorgeous?
Yeah, really, really good.
I mean,
have it
it's
on
same as
this
me,
label.
the postage stamp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the one this one I just got, it's incredible. It's the most beautiful piano I've ever heard. The sound stage is like you're sitting at the grand piano. I don't know if you've heard, it's on Yarling Records. Oh my God. It's amazing. This side one, it has Sonata in G major by Haydn. It's, I don't know, I just highly recommend it. I thought it was fantastic. And I also bought, which you showed this quite a while ago, but I finally got this.
Is that the Impex version?
Yeah, this is the new,
Yeah,
reissue.
wonderful.
And then I listened to this the other day. I got this some years ago. This is a reissue.
That's a great record. The Carnival is beautiful music,
Yeah,
piano music, but done nicely for orchestra.
yeah. I really enjoyed it. It's good. I got that quite a while ago. And then last night I pulled this out, which is okay. It's not great, but it is on the Tulip label, as you can see, Deutsche Grammophon, Beethoven, number 5 piano concerto. And then just lastly, I listened to this also. This is like, wow, pretty wild. It's probably not his most famous work. I listened to side 2 first, which is really intense and heavy, but it's Charles Ives. And
Charles Ives, amazing.
yeah,
An
the
insurance
Robert
man.
Browning Overture, which is what I liked at the beginning. On the right channel, you have the bass strings, bass violin, and then the violins on the left channel, and then it builds up, and then other instruments come in the center. But it's pretty intense, not for the faint-hearted.
It's certainly not.
Gould is very underrated too.
Yeah, yeah.
So nice collection, Alan. Very nice.
Thank you. And Happy New Year to everybody.
Happy New Year to you.
You too.
And I'm going to put Jim up. Jim's got a couple of records he was going to show.
Yeah. Well, the first one is the Weller Quartet. playing 2 Beethoven quartets, the Opus 74 and the Opus 95, and it's virtually brand new. It's an old Ace of Diamonds. I've never actually had a recording of the Weller Quartet. Now, Walter Weller led the Vienna Philharmonic, and he led the Vienna Philharmonic for the Scholti ring cycle. So he's quite, he also led the Vienna Philharmonic for the the Barbarolli Brahms cycle. And then I got this. It's getting on 99p.
Oh, no,
Brilliant.
99p.
It's lovely. It's for those who like their Deutsche Grammophon labels. It's, I don't know. It's not got anybody sort of anything on the circumference. So it's and then finally, and this is one for Scott really. I found this yesterday, and it is Bernstein conducting Mio.
Oh, that's a nice record.
Mm-hmm.
And it's 99p. It's quadraphonic,
Very
and
nice.
as far as I can see, I think it's maybe been played once by people, but it's absolutely pristine condition.
Wow, that's a fine, man.
Yeah.
So there we go. So those are the 3 of mine. But
And-
I shall enjoy listening. I haven't listened to Bernstein yet, but I will do tomorrow.
You have any record stores up where you are in Wales, Jim?
Not so much. No, not really.
Probably
Most of them, they sell, Mark Bolan and Shawaddy Waddy and, the Osmonds.
Sure.
If you want to buy those, then you're all right.
Okay, my friend Carl, who wrote that brilliant review of the VPI that Alan has, and it was, I mean, when I get
Wait, again? What was it that I reviewed? I didn't quite
what was it
understand.
remember the VPI amp they did many
Let's see,
years ago?
VPI?
Yeah, you did it. I remember, and of
You
course,
mean VPI? I just visited VPI. You mean
I know
material?
you were just there. That's right.
They did an amplifier?
Yeah, they did. Alan's got it. Alan bought it because you have a great review. So show us a
Okay.
you have a CD for us to show.
Oh yeah. So as I said, Cobuzz and other companies haven't come out with anything new. It's into the holiday season, I believe, and so there really isn't anything new that's pumped out yet. So, anyways, I found this in my office, and I was curious if any of you have seen or heard of it. It's a CD set, 10 CDs. It was part of my dad's collection.
Beautiful. Oh yeah, Claude
Cloud
Frank, great artist.
And I was kind of, I really don't know much about the story here, but it mentioned that he was born in Germany. He came to the U.S. in 1941, and he studied with Karl Ulrich Schnabel at Columbia University and was one of Arthur Schnabel's last pupils. Anyways, I have 2 of the 3 sets that each one have like maybe 3 CDs in them, 2 or 3. And I don't know where the first one is. It's missing, and I'm going to have to hunt it down. I don't know, but I'm curious. Has anyone else, heard this or played it? They were recorded in 60, I think 65, 66, around that time. And then they were released only in 1990 as a CD. They were remastered digitally to put it onto a CD. But I don't know much more about it than that at this point. Yeah.
Cool. Very nice. Very nice, Carl. You've got a whole stack of CDs you can show us each week from your father, right?
Yeah. If I could suddenly sort these things, I mean, it's just they're scrambled, and this is what makes it. There's hundreds of them, and it's difficult to know what's where. I have them in these big buckets over there just to quickly get them out of my own apartments and other places where they wouldn't fit. But every so often I see something.
And he
What's
says,
your teaching schedule is just getting in the way.
Oh yeah.
Jeremy said an underrated pianist and a set of all the stars. He also says his wife, that's right, Pamela Frank. Yeah, Pamela is the daughter, and his wife is a pianist. Wonderful. Thank you,
His
Carl.
daughter was a violinist, I believe.
Yeah,
as well.
she certainly is, Pamela Frank. She's a great violinist. Good. Ryan, do you have any records to show us?
Sure. At George Lloyd, Symphony No. 8.
Oh yeah, wonderful.
Loretta?
So Lorita's something I just buy, by label. I didn't know this symphony at all, but I like it very much. I also have his fifth. Scott, do you have this Alvin Berg string quartet playing Schubert's A minor and G minor?
No, I do not.
I don't have it, but I know it's amazing. they're just.
I sent one to you.
Telefunken.
This is a Japanese version, though. It turns
awesome.
out when I went to Japan, I bought this because I didn't recognize the cover. I went home and I found out I already had it on Telefunken, but I slightly preferred the Japanese one, so I kept it. I sent the Telefunken one to you, Anthony.
Oh, thank you. Well, I got the crappy one. I got the crappy one. Like
you
Sky
got the second-rate one, yeah.
Like Sky got the crappy one. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So this is Abato playing KJ and Scythian Suite.
Oh yeah, his Scythian Suite is so powerful.
Yeah, it's a very barbaric. I like that quite a bit. I had this Wilton #1 on with Gibson and Scottish. This is Previn and LSO.
That's great. That's classic.
Famous, incredible performance. Unfortunately,
this is Analog Productions
can you
with
just move
the
it over a little bit?
Shostakovich cello and the Schubert arpeggione.
There we go. Now we can see it. Oh yeah, he's a very underrated cellist, Russian cellist, Daniel Shafran. Amazing.
How do you like that one?
Yep. It sounds fantastic. I don't have an original of that, so I only have the analog.
Is that available at acoustic?
Yeah, it's still available.
It's still available.
Oh, I'm gonna get that.
I have unfortunately it's certainly worth getting. The Shostakovich is fantastic too, but the arpeggione is really beautiful. I had a friend pass away. Unfortunately, that's how sometimes we get records. I guess someone passes away and their widow gives away all of their records, and that happened. So another friend of mine had gotten all of them, and he asked me to come over and pick out things I wanted. He wasn't interested in the jazz and classical records, but he also left a few things that I wanted. He had Autobahn, Kraftwerk.
Yeah, that's classic.
That's on the Vertigo. It's really clean. All of his records were really clean and in fantastic condition. I took he didn't have very many classical records I wanted. I took this.
That's a good performance. That's a great performance.
Yeah, this is the later one. It's not one of the earliest ones, but it sounds pretty good. I didn't have much Johann Strauss. I never really sought them out, but it was free, so I took it. It was Carrie Ann playing.
Look at beautiful shape.
Yeah,
really nice.
It's in shrink, and you can see the price tag is about $5 when you bought it.
Yeah,
probably in the 80s sometime. He also had some Pablo jazz records, Arcadum.
Oh yeah,
solo masterpieces.
There's about 20 of those.
13. Yeah, I think there are 13 records. This is number one. He also had this Tatum with Hampton and Buddy Rich. And the only rock ones I took, he had these Nat King Cole.
There you go, Danny.
Story of Nat King Cole.
Oh yeah, that's that's an excellent shape.
Yeah, so they're in shrink. They're really perfect. They look like they were hardly played. So you have volume 1, 2, and 3. I know Analog Productions made a version of this that goes for a lot of money. It's been out of print for a long time.
I'll take them off your hands.
Fantastic.
I'll take them off your hands.
Yeah. I'm not going to get the Analog Production ones. They're too costly for me. But yeah, so my friend's gone, but whenever I listen to these, I'll certainly think of him.
That's wonderful. That's awesome. What you should do. That's great, Ryan. Thank you so much. I'm going to get that Daniel Chef Ryan. Question from Matt, and I'd like to get your ideas on this. We've only got
I want to get off. If Sky wants to get on, you can come on. I can hop off.
I think it's okay. Thanks, bud. It's great seeing you. Okay, I'll put you down. Good. And I think Sky's not there, but guess who is here?
Armin.
Hey, Ange, how are you? Better late than never, kid. How are you, kid?
Sorry I'm late.
That's okay. It's no problem. That's
Special
why I do,
late.
that's why I do the show the way it is, because it's me and Scott are going to be here, and then Jack is always here, and then we just get going.
Hi, everyone.
It's kind of nice to see you.
Hi, Angie.
Here, Angie.
Matt said, question for the group. What is the best vinyl box set of Wagner's Ring Cycle? Everyone has to have this in there. And of course, there's some great CDs. But what are your favorite vinyl? Scott, do you have one?
Schulte.
Okay, Jack?
You know, the only one I have, and I really like it, I had another one, but the Von Karajan with Berlin.
Okay.
With the gold ring around it, you know?
Oh, yeah. Danny, do you have a Wagner's Ring, or you're not into that?
Fritz Reiner. Him
Okay.
playing it's the track from All by Myself that what's his name took from it, but I like that classical album. That album from
Beautiful.
yeah.
Oh, you're talking about
Eric Carmen?
Yeah, Eric Carmen. Yeah,
you're
All by
talking about
Myself.
the Rachmaninoff.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
I love that album. I never get tired of that. That's my favorite.
Beautiful. And what about you, Carl? Do you have a favorite ring on vinyl? Or no, you don't have one. Okay,
I can
Jim,
look for a CD. It'll take me 3 hours. Find one for me.
Jim, what about yourself, bud?
Furtwängler 1950 La Scala is the only box set I've got.
Wow. Alan, do you have a Wagner ring on vinyl?
I have 3 big box sets of Wagner of some operas. I have to go downstairs to pick them up to see which ones
That's
they are.
okay.
I'm
No
not sure if
problem.
it's
Another
green.
time.
Okay.
Angie, do you have any Wagner with box sets that you like?
I've got the one that Jack mentioned, but I've got like 2 or 3 others. So I can't say which is my favorite.
Oh, you were talking about box set. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about favorite album.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
I have an opera that I got for $1 box set that I got from RCA Red. I listened to it maybe one time because I'm just new to the classical genre.
That's okay. That's what we like. That's what we love. I will tell you, I am partial to the Karajan like Jack, mainly because of the orchestral playing is about the finest I've ever heard.
It is.
If I was going to say just the sound, EMI, orchestral playing, VPO, Schulte interpretation, and the singing, the cast is Schulte. He's got it down.
Yeah.
But me personally, when Fafner comes in on the 2 low tubas, and it comes out of the cave, and I hear the brass section, I freak out every time I hear that. And then the first 15 minutes of the singing of the after the opening of the Good Adamran, when she's sending him off on his hero's journey. I've never heard anything like it. The singing and the orchestral playing is fantastic. But if somebody said to me, Anthony, gee, just name one ring for vinyl, the EMI, is it Decca? Decca. Sorry, Decca. The Decca sound is fantastic, and the playing is almost as good as the Vienna Phil. The interpretation is probably better, and the singing is better. So there you go. Now, Armin, how are you? Nice to see you again.
I'm doing good. I just wanted to come on and say Happy New Year's to everyone.
Happy New Year.
Happy New
How are
Year.
you doing? How's your city doing? My
Armin,
God,
you safe
it
down
looks terrible.
Yeah. The city's on fire, but thankfully I'm safe over here. It's I think about it like 1,000 structures have burned down and 5 people died so far.
Oh, it's
hopefully
terrible.
they contain the fire, but yeah, it's
My God, thank God you guys are okay. Okay, let me
I
just
gotta show you guys. I know it's like late, you're running out of time. I gotta show you one record.
Oh, please do.
So I've been on a Johanna Marzi binge, and I bought this as a gift for myself.
You always come up with the record of the show, and I think we just hit it.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with this because I'm honestly not. It's out of France. There was like 300 made. This is number 18. This is the record label. It's the only thing that they put out. And I think this is their debut recording from 1947. So the quality of the recording is as good as it's going to be. But the pressing itself, I think, might be like the best sounding of it on vinyl. So If you guys find this, pick it up.
Where did you find it?
I got it on eBay. I checked. There's another copy on Discogs for $800. There's another one on eBay for I think over 1,000. So if you guys find this,
Jim,
pick it up.
Yeah.
let me ask
It's
Jim.
really nice.
What do you think it is of violence?
Jim, if you find that in one of your stores, you should pick that up.
Jim, what do you think of as a violinist compared to, like Milstein and?
Well, she was very good, but she was very temperamental. But her Brahms recording, I think, is with Issy Dubrovin and the Philharmonia in the early 50s, is well worth listening to. It's a really good performance. But she fell out with Walter Legg because I think Walter Legg again had designs on her, and she was quite she got quite difficult, and then she basically retired to Switzerland. But she was in her day a great fiddle player, no doubt about it. She was
you find on the internet? Hey, I won that record, Armand. Trust me, I won that record, and I've heard her playing her solo stuff and the ERC stuff. But don't you find that people get hyped up about these things, like active phase integrated amplifiers, and bloody Harbeth speakers and Hagel amps? Like the internet just goes nuts, and everyone's trying to grab stuff. And it may be great equipment, it may be a great record, it may be a great performance, it may be great pressing, but you got to hear for yourself. But she's got a following, and we won't ask how much you paid for it. But were you the only one bidding on it?
No, there was more people bidding on it. I paid about $400 for it. I don't regret it. It's a good.
It's our rich LA friend, good looking and rich. He's got it all.
I do spend too much money on records. I'll let you decide what that means, but I spend too much regardless.
Did you see
You're not alone.
the top of the show? As we say, Armin, for work. Armin, congratulations. This is a lovely record.
I gotta also say there's ERC, their newest release is Johanna Marzi. Is it the Brahms one? The one with the yellow cover on Columbia?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's gonna be interesting to.
She's hot, man. And Jim, you introduced me to a violinist way before she got hot.
Marini.
Yeah, Erica Marini. Yeah, another.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, look out for stuff with her. Okay, guys, we're just about to close up now. Close up shop. It's a great first episode. I want to thank Brian Taylor from the Gramophone in Edmonton. It was great to see him. And boy, Brian knows his stuff, a great musician and has great lines. And I think between Angie and Brian, they've got it covered for Canada. You don't have to go anywhere else. It's great stuff. Angie, I know you were busy today with other things. It's lovely to see you. Thanks for popping on even for just a couple minutes. As we say goodbye, as always, there's going to be an after party. Stick around if you want to. Danny, it's great to see you again.
Good seeing you.
Keep asking those questions and keep digging classical music and keep your website going. Scott, we didn't get into your vault this week. I hogged the vault.
That's okay.
And no, it's terrible, but I just wanted to show you because I was so happy. But then, of course, Armin comes in, Mr. Good Looking from LA. Yeah, we got fires, but check that out. Brings up the Marzi and kills us all. But then it didn't cost 99p though, Armin, did it? That's the one. Anyway, guys, listen. For the Peanut Gallery, some great questions, great show, nice kickoff, great show, the best show of the year. I think that's that Cleveland sense of humor. Okay, it's have a great night or morning for Jim. So anyway, it's just great to see everybody, and thank you so much for all the questions, and for coming on, and for support, and for the 6,000 subscribers. Wow, who knew? And niche jazz, niche high-end audio, niche classical, and we got 6,000. Okay, that's the end of the show. Have a great week, everybody. See you next Wednesday. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.